Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to another segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. We continue our recitation with the 26th Sabad in Asa Mahalla Pehla. The recitation. Asa Mahalla Pehla ek na Bharia gun kari Dhova. Mera soh jage how nis par sowa. Yo kyo kant pyari hova. Soh jage how nis par sowa. Rahao. आस प्यासी से जय आवा, आगे सह पावा के न पावा। क्या जाना क्या होएगा री माई, हरि दर्शन बिन रहन न जाई। रहाओ। प्रेम न चाखया मेरी तिस न बुझानी, गया सुजोबन तन पछतानी। अजय सो जागो आस प्यासी, भैल उदासी रहो निरासी। रहाओ। हव मैं खोए करे सीगार, तव कामिन से जय रवे बतार। तव नानक कंते मन पावे, छोड़ वडाई अपने खसम समावे। Guruji has used the terminology of bridal mysticism, the notion that the individual, jeev or soul, if you want to call it that, is feminine, not feminine in the sense of gender, but in the sense of principle, because the divine is a fusion of both. And because of the separation, the primal separation, there is always this pull and push for a union between these two principles. So there is the self on the one hand, the male, the masculine principle, and there is the individual self, which is the feminine, seeking the self. So the Guru begins with a lament. He says, Ek na Bharia gun kari toma. I possess not even one quality. In other words, I have no qualities with which I could wash my egoic stains away. So you see, the ego is the problem. It stains your vision. It hides the truth. It puts you to sleep, literally, and that is what the Guru says. Mera so jage, how nispar sowa. The husband self is awake in a spiritual sense, whereas I remain asleep. So this is the sleep of forgetfulness of our essential identity with the self, the creator within, from which we have to awaken. And to awaken, we have to die to the ego. And how do you die to the ego? Through initiation to the Guru and its wisdom. So the Guru worries. In the Rahao Tok, he says, Yon kyo kant pyari homa, sau jage how nis par sowa. Yon kyo kant pyari homa. How can I become attractive to the beloved? In other words, how do I find union when I am in a stupor? So the question of how that awakening happens is raised here. And now Guruji explains the process. Aas pyasi sehje awa. Aas pyasi sehje awa. Aage sah pawa, ke na pawa. Seje is a nuptial bed, because we are using the terminology of bridal mysticism. The place of union, which is consciousness, is being described as a nuptial bed, a seja. So the Guru says, come to that bed filled with anticipation. Aas pyasi seje ama. So anticipation, longing is a requisite. In order to have any motivation, you have to have the longing. And the second clue is Aage sahab pawa ke na pawa. Not to worry whether the husband self will find me attractive and accept me or not. In other words, don't worry about the outcome. Because the Guru says, Kya jana kya hoega rimai? I know not what will happen, my mind. But the fact is that I cannot live without a vision of the beloved. Har darsan bin rehan na jai. So there has to be this heightened sense of longing for the beloved. That is the underpinning of bhakti, devotional worship, which is the underpinning of Sikhi. And now a lament. Prem na chakhya meri tis na bujani. I have not tasted love, so my desire is not fulfilled. This from Trishna, that sharp pang of hunger, which is weaved into our being, literally into our senses. And my youth and my wealth is slipping away. Gaya sa joban tan. And what happens then is pachotani. I'm filled with regret as a result. But it's not too late. Ajay so jagon aas pyasi. Keep the longing intact and remain detached and without expectation. Bhaile udasi raho nirasi. So there's that condition. Home khoe kare sigar tau kamen seje rave batar. By dissolving the ego, home khoe, and wearing the adornment of virtue, kare sigar, the husband self can be experienced. Tau kaman seje rave batar, on that nuptial bed. In other words, we can transcend the ego consciousness and blend into this superior consciousness. Tau Nanak kante mane ave. In this manner, says Nanak, he's made himself attractive to the kant, the husband. How? By giving up one's self-conceit. Chhod vadai apne khasam samave. Become like the self. So how does one awake to the sleep of forgetfulness? The first step we talked about was to initiate oneself onto the path of Gurmat. There used to be this practice of Charni Lagna, which appears to have faded away now amongst the Sikh community. But it seems to me that it needs to be revived. It was a formality which makes it important. It makes you conscious that you're pledging to the Guru to die to oneself. How? Because you have come to seek shelter, Charni Lagna. So you cleanse the mind of its prevarications and find renewal in Guru wisdom. So initiate yourself to the Guru, become an apprentice, and then have the motivation, the desire, and the longing for the essential self. But devotion has to be tempered, and longing has to be tempered with a sense of detachment, which is a relinquishing of the desire for the fruit of one's action. Kya jana kya hoega rimai. But detachment does not mean repression. Rather, what it means is to sublimate all of one's desires into a single and dynamic volition, aimed at self-realization. All the desires that one have should blend and become one overriding desire, which is the desire for the self, for the cub, for the husband. On that note, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.